got to know Gerald in 2009, yeah, 2009. Because we flew our DC-3 with the first time we all flew together was 2010 when we went to the last time DC-3 flying put together by Dan Grider in Sterling, Illinois. And so almost every time we were together, Gerald and I would fly. So we would load up the DC-3 or something, typically the DC-3, because that's what he really enjoyed. And multiple times I've had him in the left seat of the airplane, and we'd gone up and fly, and we take a few selfies, and that was it. We didn't document it. So Andrew flew out and picked him up in our commander. He and Shirley got all the folks here, and then we had a great time. And in flying with him, I asked him, because I prompted him all the way through, because I knew most all the missions, you know, Husky and Avalanche and D-Day and Market Garden. He flew all those missions. And I asked him about each one of those, and he went into some level of detail on all of them. And it was just Gerald and I just having a great conversation. His wife and daughter were in the back, and a few other people. And I had another pilot, you know, with me, giving me my legal pilot right there in the jump seat. And we came back in and landed, and it was just another surreal experience. You know, you think you're just going to get to do it every year. I mean, that's the, you know, in my mind, I'd already done it with Gerald 6 or 7 times, and he thought, man, this thing's just going to keep going. We're going to do it again next year. We're already talking about the next year's reunion, and that was we filmed that on a Friday, on a Saturday, and then I believe Andrew took them back. I can't remember if it was Sunday or Monday, but took them back, and Gerald had a little medical spell coming off the airplane. We didn't think it was too serious. Went in the hospital, and I'll be daggum, we lost him on Wednesday. You know, just 4 or 5 days after we shot that video. And as sad as it was, and I about tear up right now, but as sad as that was, I've never seen anybody that, you know, none of us, and one of these days we're all going to die, nobody's going to die and have a better time the weekend before. We had just an amazing time and got to document it for his family and for other people to get to kind of hear his story. That's representative of the things that we really enjoy doing here at our museum, is getting their stories. And I've been so guilty about it. We go and we share and we do with so many people, but we don't document. And that's where you come in. Okay, we get our tail wheel lock. Mixture's rich, boost pumps are on, and trims are set. Pretty good. We're ready to go whenever they tell us.
Okay, let's go, Scott.
Okay, we're on the roll. Mount Pleasant traffic, Douglas 06 X-rays departing 17 to the west, Mount Pleasant. Okay, here, you ready, Jerry? Here we go. Feet on the bottom of the pedals. Little right rudder there we go. Push. It's ready to fly, Jerry. Bring it on back. There we go, positive rate. Gear coming up, thank you, Matt. A little nose up.
Okay, we're turning right, heading to the lake.
Okay, right turn, Jerry, to the lake. Okay, we're going to go cow flaps to trail. Right engine's looking good, everything's smooth. Boost pumps coming off one at a time. You want to know the last date you flew the airplane in World War II? What mission was it?
The last mission was Holland, Market Garden.
Take a look over to your left and give us a little wave, Gerald.
Look over there and look at him and give him a wave. Hey, Hey, Jerry, tell us about the that market garden mission. The last one. Let's see, the glider tow. Tell us about that glider tow mission. Just tell us what you remember about it.
Okay.
Tell us about what. Tell us, Gerald, about what you remember about that glider tow mission.
We flew at 2,200 feet, and we were able to fly at about 100 miles an hour, and that was too high. We were in range of every gun along the way for too long a time, and we did have some losses. We should have been flying at about 300 feet, and we would be out of range of a gun emplacement much faster.
Hey, Jerry, if you could, I remember you telling me about your first Husky mission when you the second Husky mission. Tell us a little bit about that particular mission. That was the second combat mission you guys ever went on. That was the second night invasion of Sicily. Tell us what you remember about that one.
The most important part of that mission was the American and British navies putting up a barrage when we got over the water on our exit. They had picked off a couple of airplanes on the way in, but on the way out, they really put up a barrage. There were 2,500 ships there in the area putting troops ashore, and they had heard that we expect a parachute drop tonight, and it didn't tell them that it was going to be American drop, and so they assumed it was going to be a German drop. So they were ready to fire at anything that sounded like an airplane. They shot up almost all of them, but they didn't shoot down all of them.
Hey, Jerry, the airplane you're flying in right now, this was Don King's airplane and John Wood's. It got hit pretty bad on that one. You remember kind of taking a look at that airplane, talking to Don afterwards?
Yes, it had a tracer come in under the radio operator's chair with a downward going down in the airplane because the gun was higher than the airplane, and it lodged in John's parachute and set it on fire, and so he didn't have a chute if he needed it.
About the trip from South America all the way across. Tell us about that trip that you remember.
We let down when we thought we were about a half hour short of Ascension Island, and we didn't want to miss it. And our ADFs pointed front to back. Didn't tell you if what you had tuned in was in front of you or behind you unless you worked a little problem. So we sent one airplane off to the side to work the problem and found out we were still short of Ascension and continued till we could see the little island. The runway reached from one side to the other side of the island, both ends of the runway underwater during high tide. And the taxiway was on the top of the volcano. They leveled off an area for parking, and the taxiway around the going up there was John Wood turned to his co-pilot and said, just like driving a truck in the mountains, and then his wingtip hit the side of the mountain and damaged it. So they stayed another day to get it changed, so they put tape over the end and flew it without a wingtip up to Marrakesh.
So Jerry, how long was that whole trip from Florida all the way to North Africa? How long was that trip from Florida to North Africa?
It took us 10 days with 1 day of rest in Brazil. So actually 9 flying days.
You and Don King, y'all were really good friends. You're in the same squadron, Billy Elliott, 53rd Troop Carrier Squadron. You told me one time that you were actually a pilot, and he was actually a co-pilot in the very beginning. And you went out and practiced some touch and goes on a Sunday, I believe. Tell me a little bit about that. I remember you telling me it's a pretty funny story.
Don and I went out for a 3-hour flight for practice. We decided to shoot landings. We shot 24 touch and go with 12 apiece. And they were having a church service off the end of the runway. So we came by about every 6 or 7 minutes. And so we caught a little chaff about that.
And that was this airplane we're flying in now?
Correct, that was A32. I was going to tell you that I took my instrument flight check in this airplane when we were based in Pomigliano, Italy. I was at the base of Mount Vesuvius, and when he tried to set it up so one engine would quit, and both engines quit at the same time. So the curtain came down in a hurry, and we got on the wobble pump and got an engine going again so we could hold our altitude. And we were over the front line, so we had drifted while he was giving me my check. So we got out of there as fast as we could, but nobody shot at us that we could tell.
Hey Jerry, when you flew the D-Day mission on D-Day, of course everybody knows the D-Day mission, but that was one of your less eventful trips, wasn't it? You really didn't receive much flack or anything that night, did you, on D-Day?
Yeah, the main thing was the weather. When we made landfall, the ceiling was about 200 feet, and we've got 72 airplanes in our formation loaded with paratroopers, and it was a little difficult trying to navigate, and we did miss our drop zone, but they were still able to accomplish a lot because they dropped in a group of 8 airplanes in one group and 10 in the other group for our 18. Told us to fly out over the Navy, and none of us were going to do that again, so we stayed over the land up past Cannes and then cut across to England. But we weren't about to fly over the Navy again.
That was because of what had happened to you in Husky.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, I sure have enjoyed talking to you, and this old bird's flying good. And well, how about let's go see if we can land this puppy?
All right.
Does that sound like a plan? Hey, Mount Pleasant traffic, it's Douglas 06 X-ray. We're about 2 to the northwest. We'll be crossing the airport to enter the left downwind for 17 Mount Pleasant. Give him a thumbs up. Give him the thumbs up out there, Jerry.